My F35 husband, M40, doesn't want me to make or perform music. How can I proceed? I apologize. This message may be lengthy. I need some advice. I am a 35-year-old female who has been married to my husband, a 40-year-old male, for 15 years. We have 3 children, aged 1 to 12 years old. We met while I was in search of a band as a singer, and they were looking for vocalists. We made music together for a while and eventually began dating. The rest of the band quickly faded away. We never performed any gigs or properly recorded anything. We had a number of songs, but none of them ever saw the light of day. 2 years into our relationship, I started seeking out other musicians. I was still in love with my then boyfriend, but he never had time for music, despite being quite talented at composing, recording, and playing the guitar. We both worked full-time jobs, and he told me that I could not make music with anyone else if I wanted to stay with him, claiming that we would record our material eventually. Unfortunately, that never happened. 3 years ago, I realized that I could not live without music. I need to sing regularly, write, play, and even perform. It felt as though I had been asleep before or that I had voluntarily neglected a part of myself. I now understand that music is essential for my happiness. I began by taking vocal lessons and resumed my songwriting. Then I started going to karaoke and eventually overcame my fear of singing in public. All those years, he would only pick up his guitar a few times a year. Nothing more. When my youngest child turned 1, I decided I no longer wanted to pay for karaoke. Many people sang poorly there, and I realized that I could not find people who shared my musical interests and could sing more professionally. I also consider myself an excellent harmonizer and backing vocalist, so I decided to start there, as it seemed to be the least time-consuming option. I contacted some good local bands and offered my services as a backing singer. 2 out of 3 expressed interest. One of them invited me to a concert to perform a couple of cover songs together to see how it went. I informed my husband about this well in advance. He was not particularly happy about it, but did not outright oppose the idea. However, on the day of the concert, he became distant and angry, barely talking to me about anything unrelated to the kids. I went anyway, and the performance went really well. My husband remained cold for 2 more days. When I finally confronted him about his behavior, he insisted it was unrelated to my singing and that he was simply anxious about something else. I have asked him numerous times to communicate with me when he feels sad or depressed, as I want to support him and understand his feelings. I want to know what causes his sadness because when he is moody, it feels as though I am being punished. Even the children face his outbursts. He agreed to this. Today, the person from the concert suggested we prepare an acoustic duo set to perform some unique and rare cover songs. He plays guitar and sings well, too. I enthusiastically accepted the offer and informed my husband about it. He reacted by saying he did not want me to work with that individual. I was taken aback, asking, "Are you serious? Why?" He responded by stating that he could play with me. I had actually asked him about 3 to 5 months ago, and while he agreed, he never took any action, nor did he express what he wanted to play or select any songs, even after I reminded him. I suggested that we all perform together, him, me, and the other musician, arguing that 2 guitars would enrich the sound, along with backing vocals. Additionally, the other musician is familiar with the local music scene. My husband adamantly refused, insisting that I could either do this with him or not at all. Later that evening, I attempted to discuss things calmly with him. In my self-reflective statements, he repeatedly expressed how he had sacrificed everything for the family and had no time for trivial matters. He also indicated that if I wanted to spend time at bars, he would seek a divorce. He frequently uses the term divorce in arguments. By the way, I do not drink alcohol or smoke. I have always been completely faithful and do not even enjoy flirting with other men. My passion lies in making music. He has no hobbies. I asked him whether he believed that all the people out there playing sports, creating music, and holding decent jobs are all insincere or failures. He insisted I had only 2 options, no performing or divorce. Then he went outside to smoke. Now he is texting me, reminiscent of 15 years ago, sending me lyrics from our favorite songs and expressing his apologies, stating that he needs to find himself. I agree with him, but I am unsure if he is being genuine. I am here, crying, because I replied again to explain how much music means to me and how I cannot maintain my sanity or well-being if I suppress this part of myself again. I recognize the severity of the issue within our relationship, deeply buried under the responsibilities of work, children, and all the mundane aspects of life. I do not know what to do. I need help, please. Update, even if it is just for me. I spoke with him today. I initiated the conversation, once again. He began to share his feelings, claiming I had hurt him and even betrayed him by seeking out other musicians. He believes our relationship is based on music, and if I pursue it with others, our relationship will deteriorate. He also asserts that I only think of myself and that I am selfish for focusing on my own needs. He mentioned several times why I even need a family, before backtracking and trying to gaslight me. He stated that I had not considered that he is also in pain and suffering because he does not engage in music, and that he might be experiencing a midlife crisis. After each of these revelations, he usually leaves the room or house to smoke or to engage in other activities, saying something and not waiting for my response. I told him through the bathroom door that he may think I only care about my own feelings because I express what is on my mind and in my heart, while he never does that. Whenever I ask him about his feelings, he simply replies that he is fine. Of course, he does not want to acknowledge it that way, claiming I am the one with a distorted perception of reality. By the way, he also asserted that he does not want a divorce. Another mind game, another instance of gaslighting. He is adamant about not seeing a therapist because he does not believe he has any problems. I told him that if music is so vital to him and he needs it as much as I do, then let us give it another try. Let us create something together in 6 months. Let us play, write, perform, and record. If he cannot make time for that, then I will proceed to perform with other musicians. He replied that he could not discuss this at that moment, implying he needed time to think. How many times has he told me I am foolish for considering making music, while we have so many serious adult responsibilities, such as one of our children requiring minor surgery in a couple of weeks. Additionally, we are currently renting a house because we need to finish the construction work on the house we own. He is also casually searching for a job, while I need to continue working my jobs and business projects. I noted that life will stop when we die, and until then, I can carve out time for the things I love rather than just lying on the ground beneath the weight of life's obligations and moping about how challenging it is. I am exhausted by this situation. I am also weary of his tendency to view everything through the lens of my supposed insistence that I will not perform at low-quality venues without him. Low-quality venues refers to any venue, and without him means I cannot perform at all. I needed to articulate this to realize how absurd it all is and how I should not just let it slide. Story 2. I am a 28-year-old woman, and I've been with my 43-year-old boyfriend for 6 years. He's perfect for me, but I am struggling with emotional and financial abuse, and am considering leaving. Okay, I really need some advice because I am at a complete loss here. I am 28 years old, and I have been with my boyfriend, who is 43, for 6 years now. People always ask me how we manage to make it work with such a significant age difference, and honestly, I feel as if we are perfect for one another. He is everything I have ever wanted in a partner, and I have never felt a deeper connection with anyone else. It is not just about the chemistry, it is the way he understands me, you know? He is my best friend and soulmate. However, I have started to feel as though I might have been ignoring some issues. I am extremely successful in my career. I work in finance, and I have been excelling. I earn a solid 6-figure salary and have been completely independent for years. I have built a good life for myself, and I take pride in everything I have achieved. I thought, hey, if I am going to spend my life with someone, it should be with someone who supports me and shares my values, right? Initially, that is how I felt about him, but I think I may have been deceiving myself. Let me first explain the financial situation. I do not just pay for things because I want to, I have to. For the past 2 years, I have been covering half of all expenses: rent, groceries, utilities, you name it. I manage all the bills and ensure that we are on track financially. I do not mind handling this because I feel we are partners, and I want to assist him. The issue is that he does not contribute as much as he should, and when I have confronted him about it, he makes it seem as though he is doing me a favor by allowing me to help him. It is frustrating because I earn more than enough to cover everything, yet he behaves as if I should be grateful that he is permitting me to do so. And let me clarify. I have never asked him to pay for everything because I do not expect him to, but he never steps up when it comes to financial matters. But it gets worse. I even went out of my way to assist him with his business venture. He had an idea for a startup and came to me stating that he needed money to launch it. Even though I recognized it was risky, I am no fool when it comes to business. I lent him $5,000 to help him get started. And guess what? The business failed. He told me it was just a bad time and that things didn't work out, but deep down, I know he lacked the skills and business acumen to make it succeed in the first place. I essentially handed him money, and now I am left with the debt that he never truly cared about. I am honestly kicking myself for not recognizing this sooner. Why did I think it was a good idea to lend him money? Why did I place myself in this position? Now, the emotional side is even worse. When we argue, he transforms into a completely different person. I am talking about yelling, belittling me, and making me feel worthless. When we first started dating, he was incredibly sweet, and I thought he was just protective and deeply caring. However, over time, I have come to realize that this is a thin facade over his controlling nature. He constantly tells me what to do, how to dress, what to say in meetings, and even who I should befriend. Whenever I attempt to assert myself or disagree with him, he frames it as though I am being unreasonable, overly emotional, or not thinking clearly. The most damaging aspect, he makes me feel guilty for having opinions or setting boundaries. It feels like I am the one who is wrong for wanting to have a voice in our relationship. He also frequently criticizes me. I am a successful woman, and I take pride in my career, but he undermines everything I have worked for. He will say things like, "You only received that promotion because you know the right people," or, "Maybe if you focused less on your career and more on me, we would not have these problems." He does not even seem to care that I have been working hard to get where I am. However, if I mention anything positive about my career or try to discuss an achievement, he either changes the subject or makes it about how he has been supporting me all these years. And I know that is not true. He has hardly contributed to anything that has occurred in my life. He has been more of a burden than anything. Here is the thing, I love him. I mean, I truly love him. I cannot envision my life without him. He is perfect in many ways, or at least he was in the beginning. I know that some of you might be reading this and thinking, "What is wrong with you? Why would you continue doing all this for a man who takes advantage of you?" I understand that perspective. I do. But I do not know. I have invested so much in this relationship, both emotionally and financially, and I just want it to succeed. I feel like I might be overreacting or being too dramatic, but I honestly do not know anymore.